Good morning, everyone. This is the custom of the Tagalog. Learning outcomes. Number one, examine the context and the perspective of the document. Two, explain the relationship among the members of a barangay. Three, discuss the religious and spiritual practices and beliefs of early Filipino. Four, determine the significance of the document to Philippine history. So, historical context. During the first century of Spanish rule, the colonial government had difficulty in running local politics because of the unlimited number of Spaniards who wanted to live outside of Intramuros. The situation forced Spanish officials to allow Filipinos to hold the positions of gobernadorcillo to ensure that the gobernadorcillos would remain loyal to the crown. The friars assigned in the parishes were instructed to supervise and monitor the activities of the farmer. Hence, the friars ended up performing the administrative duties that colonial officials should have been doing at the local level. They supervised the election of the local executives, helped in the collection of taxes, were directly involved in educating the youth, and performed other civic duties. Consequently, the friars became the most knowledgeable and influential figure in the pueblo. The friars who were assigned in the mission territories were required periodically to inform their superiors of what was happening in their respective areas. They prepared reports on the number of natives they converted, the people's way of life, their socio-economic situation, and the problems they encountered. Some of them submitted short letters, while others who were keen observers and gifted writers wrote long dispatches. On top of the regular reports they submitted, they also shared their personal observations and experiences. Pasenjas Relación de las Costumbres de los Tagalogs, Customs of the Tagalogs in 1589, is an example of this kind of work. It contains numerous information that historians could use reconstructing the political and socio-cultural history of Tagalog region. His work is primary source because he personally witnessed the events and these accounts contained his observation. There were other friars and colonial officials who also wrote about the Filipinos which could further enrich our knowledge of Philippine history during the early part of the Spanish period. For example, Miguel de Luarca in Encomendero of Panay wrote his Relación de las Islas Filipinas 1582 and described the Filipinos' way of life in the Western Visayas area. Lieutenant Governor Antonio de Morga wrote Sucesos de las Islas Filipinas which provides information about the state of the Philippines in the latter part of the 16th century about other Spanish missionaries who continued the historiographical tradition where Father Pedro Chirino S.J. Relación de las Islas Filipinas 1604. Father Juan Delgado S.J. Historia General, Father Francisco Colon S.J. Liber Evangelica, and Father Francisco Ignacio Alcina S.J. Historia Natural del Sitio Fidelidad y Calidad de las Islas Indios de Visayas. 1668, most of what we know about. So, background of the author. Juan de Plasencia. Born in Juan Portocarrero on 1522 in Plasencia, Extremadura, Spain. He died on 1590, aged by 69 to 70, in Lillo, Laguna, Captaincy, General of the Philippines, nationality Spanish, and known for Doctrina Cristiana. About the text. The original document of customs of the Tagalog is currently kept in the Archivo General de Indias in Seville, Spain. A duplicate copy of it is kept in the Archivo Franciscano Ibero Oriental, or AFIO in short, in Madrid, Spain. An English translation appeared in Volume 7 of the Blair and Robertson, The Philippine Islands. Another English translation was published as part of the Volume 4 Pre-colonial Philippines in the second series of the Filipiniana book Guild. The excerpts presented below is from the latter version. So this is the example of excerpt from Kusumdu Tagalogs. Social classes, Datu, Marliga, Aliping Mamahay, Aliping Sagugulier. Datu is the chief, captain of wars, whom governed, obeyed, and reverenced. Marlika, free-born, they do not pay taxes. Aliping namamahay, they live in their own houses and lords of their property and gold. Aliping sagigilir, they served their master in his house and cultivated lands, and it can be sold. Government. The unit government is called barangay, ruled by a chieftain, and consists of 30 to 100 families together with their relatives and slaves. Administration of justice. The chieftain's executive function includes implementing laws, ensuring order, and giving protection to his subjects. Disputes between individuals were settled by a court made up of a chieftain and council of elders. Slaves. A person becomes slave by captivity in a war, by reason of debt, by inheritance, by purchase, by committing a crime. A slave can be emancipated through by forgiveness, by paying debt, by condonation, by bravery, where a slave can possibly become a datu or by marriage. Marriage customs. Men where cannot are monogamous, while their wife are called asawa. Courtship begins with a paninilbihan. Prior to the marriage, the man requests to give a dowry. Bigay kaya, panghihimuyat, bigay puso. Marriage between couples belonging to different social classes were not common. Several grounds of divorce are adultery, abandonment on the part of the husband, cruelty, and insanity. Inheritance. The first son of the chieftain inherits his father's position if the first son dies. The second son succeeds their father. In the absence of male heirs, the eldest daughter becomes the chieftain. Religious beliefs. Bathala, it came all-powerful or maker of all things. Sun, respected and honored by the heathens. Stars, they called morning star Tala. Seven little goats and Mapolon. Balatik, likha Indian Mansalan. Images with different shapes, patron of lovers and generation. Lakapti and Indianan. Patrons of cultivated lands and husbandry. Water lizards, called them buaya or crocodiles. Superstitious beliefs. Number 1. Katolonan, manggagaway, manisyalat, mangkukulam, hokloban, silagan, magtatanggal, uswang, manggagayuma, sonat, pangangatuhayan, kotyan. So, relevance. The contents of the writing of Fray Juan de Plasencia depicts the ancient or pre-colonial life of the Filipinos before and upon the arrival of Spain as embodied in Plasencia's detailed narration on how was the Filipinos during this time. It just proved that these occurrence beliefs and practices had been existing long before the arrival of Spaniards, and it is inappropriate to debunk the Western depiction of the islands of barbaric, uncivilized, and uncultured when they arrived. Based on Plasencia's observation, the Tagalogs are already highly civilized and have a sophisticated as described in Plasencia's report. So this is the our topic in chapter 6.